Okay, I'll
Oh,
say that again when you hit on air.
come on. Okay. Okay, now you can say it.
Extreme UFO Supercell Live Beta number 1.
Even though technically this is show 13, so if it's screwed up, we'll blame the number as to why it's not working.
But we are now on YouTube Live, and that's
sort of, I guess. Supposedly I can, but if I tried to do this, because I don't trust my internet worth a darn right now, I could actually look up analytics and all this other gobbledygook and go, woo, ah.
Sweet.
Okay, wait a minute. Come on, give me. Oh, more things changed.
More things.
Okay,
I
wait a
like
minute.
that.
There's some. So let me. Nope, that's not what I want. Come on. We may get around to talking about weather or whatnot if I keep this. Let's see. Okie dokie. Let's see if this will work. That's for you.
Aw, thank you.
So anyway, we're doing this on Saturday the 10th right now, even though Matt doesn't cheer for Iowa State. The Iowa State football game is on. I'm not watching it. I'm not going to watch it because I don't really care at this point. As an Iowan, I like Iowa, but I went to Iowa State. So, too bad. Anyway, but we're doing this on Saturday because Friday, yesterday, I didn't trust my internet. I still don't trust my internet. And about the time we would have started the show, about 7 o'clock, a really cool-looking shelf cloud came through with thunder, lightning, and lots of rain again, even though we only had 10. So, and then I just heard the sound of like crackling thunder, and no, it's a car that just went over a bunch of walnuts outside because there's a walnut tree across the street from me.
That's awesome.
And all I heard was this, and I was like, okay. I'm talking about thunder and lightning, and all of a sudden I'm hearing thunder. It's like, okay, it's quite sunny outside, and that's annoying about this house. But anyway, I was out twice yesterday. There was one squall line and another one in the evening. The first one I drove all the way up to Lake Delhi and back in a downpour. I did not like that. And then I drove up during the evening one just to Monticello and back in a downpour. And the second one had a little bit of lightning in it, and that was during football games. So there were some high school football games. There were a few that were postponed till today or Monday. Several were likely delayed because of the weather. I know of several that were delayed for at least an hour or two. So,
which is a good call on the school districts and the athletic departments. Keep people safe and players.
And if that wasn't enough, yesterday there was a mini tornado outbreak in eastern Illinois. There was 4 tornadoes. Some of them I saw shots of. They were fairly strong. So they were ripping up things, but it's September. You gotta prepare. And then we had Newton, or Fig Newton hurricane in the Pacific, that decided to go up into Arizona. And that's what came through. The remnants of the moisture content of that came through here yesterday. That's why we had a lot of precipitation yesterday, because it was actually the moisture from the remnants of Newton. So,
which was very interesting because here in downtown Anamosa, it did not rain that hard. It rained for a while, but it never rained that hard.
Was that was that yesterday afternoon or in the evening?
That was the afternoon round.
Yeah, the afternoon round, it was not. Because the squall line, the first one, was dissipating and decaying as it came through. And I noticed it took me a while when I was driving back from Delhi. I was in heavy rain until about Monticello, and then it just was light, and it was light all the way back to Anamosa. But it almost just looked as if the storm was decaying quickly, which it was.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
If further north at Lake Delhi, which I might add, Lake Delhi does have a lake now, because their lake is fully full. I know, I crossed the bridge. Not the one with the dam, because they never rebuilt the bridge there. I had to go up slightly further up by Hartwick Point. But anyway.
Hey, Jeff, let me come back. I'm being summoned.
Okay, he's being summoned. So we'll let him
downstairs.
Yeah, he's being summoned by downstairs. So I'll let Matt go off and be summoned.
I will be right back, hopefully.
Yeah, and if not, I'll just keep talking. Anyway, or I'll just.
Sounds good. I'll be back.
Okay. So there was like heavy rain, and it lightened up, but it was very interesting because there was a cool looking shelf cloud with that, which I did not take a picture of because it's not really good enough to drive up to the top of the up here north of Anamosa where I live and try to start taking pictures when there's not really a place to pull off, and I don't want to like make my car dirty going down a gravel road. I washed it today. But anywho, so it had a decent looking shelf cloud. It was nice and big, black and whatnot, but it wasn't that bad. The second storm, the shelf cloud was much better because it had been a severe storm earlier, but it was starting to even dissipate a little bit at that time too as it came through. It had a few lightning strikes, a little bit of thunder, a lot of wind. I had my hand out to feel the rain as I was driving, and it felt stingy, like almost as if there may have been a little bit of hail with it. The drops were a lot bigger in the second round. So whether there was probably some melted hail in that or a little bit of small hail or not wouldn't have surprised me one bit. Had about 0.3 of an inch from that yesterday. But a few days prior to that, I had like, what, 1.5 inches of rain. It just dumped rain from that. And that was of some interest, but right now, other than that, right now the weather is, right now here, it's cold. I'm not going to say it's nice. It feels like fall. It got up into about the low 70s today. It's supposed to drop into the upper 40s tonight. That's going to feel more than interesting, to say the least. So I think the forecasted low, and I'll go and look it up now because I can, and I will. But first, I'm typing on 20. But anyway, so let me go and look up the weather forecast. I think the last time I checked, the weather was going to be in the upper 40s, which is all well and fine, but, and then I'm going to rant about this if Matt doesn't come back, if he's being summoned longer than whatnot. Yeah, it's supposed to be in the mid 40s tonight. Here, 47. And what I like about this is the weather is nice and comfortable. You want to open the windows. Well, so this is what I did. This is my rant because I'm going to go off on a rant now. And first I got to make sure I'm back on my thing. So, okay. I was like looking at a thing and I saw something pop up in my Twitter feed. Anyway, so it's like I'm going to open my garage because I have a garage now in my house. So I opened my garage because I had washed my car. So I brought the car in. I was going to mow my lawn today, and I didn't. Why? Because everybody else was. And I didn't want to because my mower tends to, if the ground is wet, not the grass, the ground, which it still was, it's still damp. It loves to rip the ground up and throw stuff everywhere because my mower is like turbo mower. Because I just got it when I bought this house. I bought a mower, and it decides it wants to turbo mower everything and rip grass out. and I lifted the thing up 3 rungs. But anyway, so I didn't mow today. I was going to mow the rest of my mom's house with not turbo mower, and because I mowed the front yard of hers yesterday before it rained, and it was muddy, and I got my shoes all muddy, and it was a mess and whatnot. I thought, I'm not going to do the backyard of hers because I was going to wait till after this next rain came through. We didn't get that much, so I could probably do it tomorrow after I do this lawn. But anyway, back to my story. So I had my garage open because I wanted to air out my garage, and I didn't want to put my car in the garage. Evidently, it decided that the gnats wanted to come in. And I didn't have the door open from the garage into the house. They decided to come in and started going all around. So now I have gnats in my house again. I was like, I finally got rid of them in my apartment when I lived there. Now I'm in my house and I have gnats. So that was first thing. Second, my air conditioner went on today. I have it set at 77, which it says it is right now, which is interesting because I could open my windows, but I fear I'm going to end up just getting more gnats. So what I'm probably going to do is, before we do anything else, so let me make sure, okay. I'm going to make sure my house is not going to, my air conditioner is not going to go off again. Because on a nice day like this, it's nice to have the windows open, but the thing is, if the windows are open and it's letting bugs in, you really don't want to be doing that. And some of my screens, I don't trust them that well. So let me move this around. But I don't trust them. But anyway, it's just annoying that I'm just getting the bugs. Every time I open windows, I get bugs. I could have my house spick and span, and they still come. So I just don't know. But yeah, I don't foresee air conditioners being on for quite some time. I'm looking at the forecast, at least here where I'm at. I don't see the temperature getting much higher than close to 80, mainly in the 70s, lows in the 50s mainly, except for tonight. And Monday night could be around the low 60s, but that's because it's going to rain. So, but anyway, around here it looks fine at this point. So let me make sure there's no tropical entities. There is some tropical mischief that's probably about to begin again. And I will put this on screen share. So just let me. And here we go. You can see there's this, and let me go up to here. We have this feature right here. That's probably going to become the next tropical depression, which would be Tropical Depression 10. The next named storm would be Ian, I-A-N. These two systems don't look to be of any significance here. So they're not going to be worrisome, at least at this point. In the Pacific, right now, it looks like this is probably going to become a depression like really quickly. So now I gotta, come on. Oh. So anyway, so that's what's happening at this point. So, in just a minute, because I gotta, come on. I'm sure everybody wants to see this, but so yeah, they want to see me discussing with Matt about stuff, but since he had been summoned. Anyhow, so yeah, that's what's going on in the Eastern Pacific. The system is probably going to. In fact, I want to look at a satellite image of that, because I want to know what that looks like. Because I wouldn't doubt because we're doing this at 7:15 p.m. Central. The next advisory, the main advisory would be at 10 our time, 10 Central. I would take a good guess that that storm in the Eastern Pacific, as you saw earlier, and I'll bring it back up again as long as it's not going to go back to the other thing, that, as you can see, that thing, when I pointed it, it said it was near 100%. I would take a guess right now it's probably going to become a depression at the next advisory. So that would be tropical depression number, gosh, something. I'm bad with trying to figure out what the next number is in the Eastern Pacific. They're at like 15 or 16 or something. The next name in the Pacific would be the O name, which right off the bat I can't. Let me make sure I look it up because I want to make sure. Come on, give me. Here we go. The next name, as I said, in the Atlantic would be Ian. The next name in the Pacific after Newton, which occurred earlier, would be Orlene. O-R-L-E-N-E. Orlene would be the next one. Oh, wait a minute. The names are getting funny. Paine. As in Paine, P-A-I-N-E is the storm after Orlene. Oh, we have to have a pain. Because if it hits something, it'll be a pain in the neck. Oh, that's not funny. Oh, God. Oh, we better hope for some more storms in the Pacific because some of these names are funny as heck. Seymour? Seymour. Really? Seymour. How fun. That looks like fun. Seymour. But anyway, so yeah, that's what's going on in the Pacific. So there'll probably be another depression, probably as early as later today. But I'll show you the, but I'll bring you the satellite from that's current as of like right when the show is taking place, like right now. And as mentioned, you can see this. Whoa! What the heck? Don't you dare go away! You stupid thing. Okay. It's like, whoa, it's deciding to wreck. Okay. Let's get down here. Whoops, I'm cutting off part of this country. Okay, see, there's these two. Remember there was those small little things in the Atlantic? There's this little feature that looks like a wave. It looks just straight up and down. And then there's this over here. This looks very disorganized. This looks a little more organized, but it looks elongated. And it's starting to get, here's a frontal system. There's been a little bit of severe weather all along this, all the way down. And then a couple of pop-up storms earlier in Louisiana. Monsoonal flow over the Mogollon Rim down into Mexico. Some high clouds over the Dakotas and a little bit of activity in Canada. But this looks fairly dead quiet from about Iowa west. Outside of Arizona, nothing. And there's nothing out in the Pacific. So anything that's going to come is probably going to have to come from Canada, like this system that's up here. So this looks dead quiet, at least at this point. Comparatively speaking to a lot of other places where it's not as quiet. I mean, this is quiet out here. This is dead quiet. Nothing's going on over here. Quiet, 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 quiet. Bad storm over here. I mean, there's nothing going on there. Now, this is the interesting thing. This is the storm, and I wanted to show this. This is the east. This is Africa. Now, look at this. This is right here. This is the system that in the Atlantic they were talking about that could develop. It's right here. This looks large. It looks slightly disorganized right now, so that's why it's not like at 100%. But then you look back to the west. This won't probably develop. This that's just about to come off the coast, that's probably looking a bit interesting. There's this wave right here. Then it looks dead for a while until you get to these three right here that are still in Africa. This is probably going to come off in about, gosh, a week. These two probably in about 10 days. But it's all going to depend on how much Saharan dust is getting put in, because there was and if there's going to be a lot of shear. So, and it looks like it's getting it. There's a frontal system. So I saw from the Met Office that they were having some cooler air coming in. You can see this frontal system right here extends from Scandinavia through the Low Countries into northwestern France. So it's going to move off, and then there's this storm coming in. I'm doing weather in Europe now, evidently, as I'm trying to keep this going. But what I wanted to discuss, and we're going to probably discuss this because I'm going to bring it up, and I'll just do it right from here, is that, oh, and by the way, there's flooding up here again in northeast Iowa, as if they need any more rain. I think they would love to have a long dry period right about now. But anyway, this is what I want to discuss, because we were going to discuss this because we kind of mentioned it briefly a few times ago, is that a lot of gauges have, as you can see, gauge discontinued due to lack of funding. This is serious business, especially when one of them is Indian Creek at Marion, which always has tended to flood, especially in a flash flood prone area. The Wapsipinicon River at Oxford Mills, which is actually Oxford Mills and Oxford Junction, is not ongoing. But the one at Buffalo Creek at Prairieburg, at south of Prairieburg, this is used especially for when they're trying to determine what the Wapsipinicon River will do down here at Anamosa. And as you can see, the river is expected to rise. But as you can see here, you can also see that there's flooding again up here in northeast Iowa. The Turkey River is flooding again. I swear that river floods more than anything else. So you can see the Kickapoo River in Wisconsin's flooding. So this area has gotten raked pretty much with rain. So the Turkey's back up again. Looks like the Cedar's going to come up a little bit because the river's coming up in Waterloo. It's expected to just barely rise above flood stage in Cedar Falls, but you can see at Cedar Rapids, it's not going to do anything. It's going to come up, but then it's going to go back down. So, but you can see there's a lot of these that there's ones that are like this one's out of service, technically speaking, as is this one. But then you got only these ones over here, like the North Mokokota River at Dyersville, this one, and this one. There's a few others around, like down here at the Skunk River at Merrimack. But it's like, well, they don't have funding. Well, they surely have funding for a lot of these others, so where do they find the funding for this? I mean, I can understand some of these because I know Salt Creek over here at Elberon, it's at Highway 30, by the way. That tends to flood really badly. All the creeks around Tama and Toledo flood, and then I can understand Des Moines and Iowa City, but it's almost like, oh, so I guess we don't care that if this town floods or if DeWitt floods, because the Wapsipinicon, as you can see, floods in DeWitt quite often. But I guess we're not important. I don't know. I just want to go flying off the deep end with this, and there's a gnat on my computer. I'm getting sick of it. I might have to, God, go away, gnats. Gee-many. So anyway, but yeah, I'm hoping they're going to be able to find some funding, because they mentioned that some of the things were going to go away. So we'll see what they'll do about that, but I don't foresee them lasting or coming back probably at all at this point. So, but as you can see, there's still going to be some flooding up here.
see. I'm hoping that if the Wapsi's going to flood there, I'm wondering if it's going to start flooding because Independence is not going up. Most it's expected to go up to 10 and then fall. So the river's fine because the hill climb is tomorrow at the river. It's pretty much at where this river gauge is. That's where the hill climb is. So they're having that tomorrow, which is 9/11. They're having it in the afternoon. So, what a great way to celebrate is to go up a hill, but they're not going to have any problems with flooding and whatnot with that. But I wanted to make a mention of that, the flood gauges and flood things and whatnot before we went any further. So let's see. Okay. I'm like looking at at stuff while I'm yeah, I'm still looking at this. But and then we gotta make mention of this because I don't want to forget this while I'm on. I have this on topic that John McLaughlin from KCCI, who's been pretty much sick and recovering from illness for quite some time, announced that he is retiring, and he has retired. He had left the air several months ago, and he's officially retired. So he is no longer doing the weather, and will never probably come back to doing the weather, at least probably not on television, because the disease that he has pretty much fatigues him too easily. So unfortunately he had a long run. He was at KCCI for almost over at least 30 years plus. So we'll say goodbye to John, because I liked watching him when I had to get up because I have to turn on my lights in my living room, and it's dark in here as the sun is starting to set. But so that's what's going on with him. So he's finally gonna have some family time and a lot of other time where he's going to be able to build himself back up a little bit more, maybe be able to do stuff in the future. So we'll see. So we'll see about what we're doing, at least at that time with John's retirement and whatnot. So, but they did have Curtis Gertz named as chief. So, and Matt returns, as I mentioned that, but
yes,
he
turn that off, save bandwidth.
He went to go and knock over bikes at the roundup.
Yep.
They said, "Get off my property."
I had to go make sure nobody was parking illegally. We had a lot of bikes today.
Yeah, because I mentioned while you were gone, I discussed like everything. But then I just finished talking about John McLaughlin's retirement because he finally announced it.
Oh,
mainly because he wasn't going to come back because of what he had for so long. So I saw that on Facebook, but then you made me think of something else, which I've now completely lost because I've gone off on the topic again. Gosh, what is it?
I'm drawing a blank here too.
Anyway, but there's lots of other news because I'll mention it. People probably already know this,
that this past weekend I left the Iowa Weather Network, mainly because Henry was going to leave. So I decided to do that. I'm not going to quit this show because I still like doing this, and mainly because I still like having social time. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I did quit. But then this made me think, and this goes back to what happened yesterday. If I was still at the network, I wouldn't have been able to go and drive and look at cool clouds. I took a cool cloud picture. I sent it to the network. It got sent to, and so I still send them stuff. I'm not angry at them, but it just wasn't. I didn't feel as though I wanted to take leadership because I didn't want it. Because I almost was given it several years ago, and I didn't want it, and I still don't want it because at this point it's harder to try to keep track of a group of about a dozen people.
Right.
And you're not sure how many of them are going to stick around, so it made no sense for me. And I thought I want to get back into my writing because Matt probably knows this, or he may not know this, the fact that I have published 3 books.
I did not know this.
So see, Matt doesn't know me very well because I have published 3 books. Don't expect to find them at Barnes & Noble because they ain't there.
Weather books?
Amazon.com, you will find them.
Are they weather books?
What?
Are they weather books?
No. They are novels.
They're novels?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll just tell you this. Well, we're just going off on a tangent here, because we always do. First book, people get killed. I like writing books about people getting killed. I don't know.
Okay.
I'll just tell you right now, a weather person is in it. Let's just say he's involved.
He's what?
He's involved.
Ooh, interesting.
As in, he's involved and he's not the good person. Let's just say that.
He's the antagonist.
Yes. Second book has nothing to do with weather at all. That was a book that my mother liked the best after I wrote it. She was like, oh, I was like, okay, whatever. So I wrote that. Third book is the sequel to the first one. And that one has nothing to do with weather either.
Huh. Interesting.
So I wrote a book. I have, and I'll use this because we're off topic. But anyway, I wrote a book. I started writing a book on the night of my sister's first wedding, which was August 24th, 1996. So yes, that was 20 years ago.
Wow.
And I created characters. And I'm like, well, not characters. I'm still writing that book. It's 20 years later.
So is this going to be a big book, or you just haven't gotten more into it?
Well, the thing was, this and I swear, this does have a connection to weather, because this does have a connection. What I did was I brought up characters. They're playing for they're playing for their high school, because it's pretty much high school. They started their freshman year, they're going to go through senior year.
Oh, okay.
And they play basketball, the main characters. They're playing basketball, their team sucks. Sounds a lot like my high school. Because they suck at everything. Except then last year they didn't, and now this year they're starting to again. Because they didn't win their football game last night. They lost.
It's only one game.
They lost 42-7. Anyway.
Oh boy.
Well,
it's only one game.
Yeah, because they lost. They're 1-2, but they could be worse. They could be 1-3. Anyway, but so I had it's based in Kansas. You can already tell there's weather involved. So anyway, I started this. I created characters. Blah blah blah. They were stupid because what I did was I started setting the characters as sophomores. And I thought I should start back at the beginning. So then I started at the beginning with them as freshmen and moved along. Well, toward the end of freshman year, the town gets hit by a tornado. And a person dies.
Ooh.
It's not a main character, it's a sidebar character. But then what happens is there's all these people, and then there's stuff happens, and right now in the storyline, they're now juniors, and they're about to start their basketball season. So I have filled 12 notebooks, and they're not like one subject notebooks. Several of them are 5 subject notebooks.
Wow.
So I swear I'm writing Missioner. I'm not trying to, but that was my goal. But the other books that I wrote, one is 380 pages. There's another that's, I think, in the low 300s, and another is about 180 or something like that. So I went off tangent, but I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So I thought about writing more books. I have written books about storm chasing. I write a lot about, this is weather related, so I'll just say this, where I have storm chasers, and there's this guy, I now mention this because I haven't published it, but I have finished it. It's too short for being a novel, so it'd be like a novella or something. But it's about 2 storm chasers, and they go out, and this guy feels like he's reliving. They see a tornado. It then picks up a car of their friends because they meet their friends there, and they're going to chase together. It's like a chasing convoy type thing. I don't know, whatever. So then they chase, and here comes a tornado, and it almost hits them, and their car gets wiped out, and their friends are missing. Okay, wow. Or something like that, because the tornadoes come in, they're getting chased by it on a gravel road. Bad idea, and the road is not in of good shape because A, it's Kansas again. I don't know what it is.
B, it's rain.
Well, anyway, Kansas. If bumpy roads, bad timing. Anyway.
Is the location in Kansas a real location or a fictional?
It's fictional.
Oh, okay.
Because I fictionalized it. But anyway.
So it's not like it's Hayes, Kansas.
Yeah, no, it's not that. But anyway. So then they get to this is what happens. It gets crazy. This is how stupid it gets. So they see more tornadoes, blah, 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 blah. They almost get hit by more tornadoes, blah, blah, blah. They get to their end destination in a fictional town in Kansas. The only thing that's not fictional is Wichita, but this comes up later. So then they get to their hotel and blah, blah, blah. Storm is coming. Big tornado that hits the town they're in. Now, here's what's interesting. Because they find their friends. They find them trapped in the vehicle, and to get them, they have to take them to this hospital in this town. The town then gets hit by a tornado. They're in the hospital. They go to take shelter in the hospital, but the one guy decides he wants to go and see the storm. So he sees the picture, he sees the tornado coming, he's like, woo, and then he goes to the hospital and can't find where all the people took cover, and he gets hit by the tornado, and he gets put into the rubble, and they can't get him out. So then he closes his eyes, and what happens? He relives the whole thing all over again, but it's different. So it's like dream sequence, thinking that he gets right back to the same situation where they're at the hospital, and he finds out where they were, and he thinks he's safe because he got into shelter this time. When he finds out, he dreamt the whole thing all over again, and he's still in the rubble.
Very cool.
Thanks to you. I'm glad I spoiled this whole story for everybody.
That's a very fun story. I like this.
But anyway,
it sounds like a combination between Night of the Twisters and Twister.
Oh, just
in a way.
Wait a minute. I have to talk about Twister or something about that, because Twister, it wasn't meant to be that, because what I did was, and then this goes off to another thing, because I've mentioned this, and I sent this to James Spann, several years ago, that I was going to write a 3rd book. This was a sequel to the first 2 books that I had published. Okay. Mm-hmm. It was going to be a sequel, but it was not going to be like a murder, everybody gets killed. What it was going to be in the setting of the area that this book is H did. The first two, they were going to have an April 27th type event. Where the main character of the first two books is now the news director of a TV station. That's what his job is now. But the main character in this case will be the chief meteorologist of the said TV station. No, and I'll tell you right now, for those that would know, the person that was involved, the weather person that was involved in book one is no longer there because he's in jail. And I'll just tell you and leave it at that. But anyway, you'll love the fact that it's so messed up. So what I did was I put them in separate situations. I took April 27th to a T. I got the radar images from midnight of April 27th, midnight, the morning event, all the way until midnight of April 28th. So I had 24 hours of radar images from Birmingham. And then I took the radar images and plopped them down in my fake setting and found where the tornadoes were and then put in different characters in the areas where there was going to be bad tornadoes.
That's awesome.
Guess what's going to happen? As I did that, I came up with a story that one person is going to get killed, and it ain't going to be by a tornado. But I haven't written that part yet.
So it's like a death mystery. I won't say murder because I don't know if it's murder or what.
I haven't decided yet, but
it's a death mystery of sorts.
Yeah.
Wrapped in the, I guess, for lack of a better term, the guise of April 27th, 2011.
Yeah.
Because you're right in the middle of both of them.
Because I did the beginning. The beginning was after the event. You know, it's like and then you go back to the beginning. You know, a lot of books love to do that. And I did chief meteorologist. I did a whole bunch of words, a bunch of them. I sent it to Span for him to read it. This was years ago. And and I don't know if because he never said anything. He was like saying it was good, but I'm starting to wonder if he actually thought it was good because I didn't get an idea of what he thought about it. But it was talking about that he had to hold his wall, the wall you keep from breaking down, you know, because April 27th is like a traumatic event because a lot of them started to try to break down. They almost did. It's like you have to have that wall.
A lot did.
Yeah, and then it was the end of the event, and he was like drained, and he had to go down the road, and then he got to an intersection to a stoplight. This was what I wrote, not anything else, because I've read the stuff about what happened. This was long before I read the book, the one book that I can't remember it now because I'd have to go and look for it. It's downstairs in my basement right now.
The one by Dr. Laura Myers?
No, not that one. The one by Kim Cross.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the one where Span is mentioned quite often, where Span actually was seen in the book to be crying. Mm-hmm. I just read that book this past spring. This was written like 3 years ago. At least 2 or 3 years ago. About 2.5.
Okay.
So this was, I think, even before he was on Polygon. This was like about 6, 7, 8 months before he was on Polygon. Because he was on the Polygon, the 3rd episode. This was in 2014. So this was before that. And I sent it to him. And it talked about a person not knowing what his situation was until I read the book. If you read Kim Cross's book about Span when he got home and started crying, it was almost word for word what I wrote. And I didn't know the situation, whereas Kim Cross was interviewed James and I never had yet. And I talked about that he was having the wall, but the wall crumbled as he got home. Or at that stoplight where it started to crawl and he started to just weep because he knew people had died and he didn't seemingly do enough. And I'm thinking, that was probably the best writing I'd ever done, ever. Because you read some of the stuff I wrote in high school, going back to that book that I talked about, and we're still talking about this, but it's weather related. It looks really bad. Because I took a bunch of writing classes after.
But that's subjective. If it's a good story, who cares? As long as you put forth a good story, who cares?
Well, the writing is in high school. It gets better because you can tell after I took writing classes after college, or when I was in college, my writing increased exponentially. But this was written after that, so it was probably the best writing I'd ever done. I'm probably never going to accomplish anything better than that. So
I wouldn't say that. Everybody's always got one more great book in them.
Well,
right.
That book has been suffering. So this is why when I get back to the fact of me leaving the network, I want to get back into writing some more. And with my internet having been off for a couple of nights, I actually was able to start writing a lot. So
that's awesome.
So one good thing about that, but then I can't watch YouTube videos. And I can't do this show with no internet, or the internet being bad. So
who's taking over the show?
What show?
This.
I'm still doing this show.
Oh, you're still doing. Oh, okay. So this is not a part of IAWX.
This was my own thing. It's been off the Weather Network for over almost a year and a half now.
Oh, okay.
Because I stopped putting this show onto the network. Gosh, what was it? Polygon episode like 60. And the last episode we did was 111.
That's 6 months before I came.
Yes, roughly. Because when I did the show and we got to mention this too before we end it too, because I stopped putting it on before Henry and I had gone to NWA in Oklahoma City last year. I didn't even bother putting it on the website by then. I had stopped doing it long before that. But speaking.
Oh, hey. We have a listener right now, and she is texting me.
Speaking of NWA, while you're doing that, NWA is in Norfolk right now. They started the meeting, the first day of the meeting was today, but they technically start tomorrow with the broadcasters conference, which
yes.
I'll tell you right now, you don't have to be a broadcaster to go, because I went to the broadcaster convention last year. And I found out stuff that I don't think I was supposed to find out. But because it was and this is important, people saying nasty things to meteorologists about their looks. And I mentioned this, I think, during one of my NWA specials last year, that I thought it's funny when you say, as a person, Joe Q public, when you say something like, oh, blah, blah, blah. This was a case where you got to see the other side. Given that was a weather person, still am, I'm just not doing a weather thing anymore. That to see what they're like, and you hear all these groans from all these weather people, I just found it hilariously funny. So it's interesting that more or less, if I have an opinion about somebody in the weather field, my thing is to not say it, not write it, not do anything, because from that thing, I'm keeping most of my stuff to myself.
Well, I think a lot of things need to be kept to ourselves. I'm saying ourselves as in people that do podcasts and whatnot. Because a lot of it is from the outside looking in. Because I guess you could say I am a James Spann Kool-Aid drinker. I say that with great risk, but I think he is the best TV weather personality probably on this planet. Definitely in this country, probably on this planet. And you don't really have a leg to stand on unless you've, like he says, walked a mile in their shoes. I have never been in front of that chroma key when there's tornadoes on the ground and people could be getting hurt. I do not understand that type of situation. I have been in threatening situations before in my own personal experience, but that is not the same thing.
No.
It is not. being responsible for hundreds of thousands of people's lives in your DMA. I was responsible for about 4.
Okay.
Now, that's completely different. So I think a lot of those types of things, yes, need to be kept to themselves because of the perspective, the point of view. Now, if there's some genuine critique with a well thought out idea and well written or executed, whatever you want to call it, and it's not just a rant saying screw you, you're stupid, I never want to see you on my TV again, then yeah, it needs to be said. But as far as weather people or weather enthusiasts trying to talk smack to the people doing the actual work, I don't think that's quite appropriate because a lot of those people don't really understand. There's some out there, granted, you know, I believe that once you're a weather nerd, you're a weather nerd pretty much for life, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
But the nasty comments, the snide comments, the vanity in the, I guess you could say, the weather complaint community, if that makes sense.
Well, weather complaint community or complaining about when the weather is coming on saying, there's a tornado warning for X.
Yes.
Why is it on my screen? I want to watch college football. Stuff like that.
Exactly. That stuff needs to go away. There are people that genuinely could be having their lives at stake. And if you are so vain and so wrapped up in your own thing that you can't hold on, you can't pause your football game for 15 minutes while a TV meteorologist gets up on that wall and gives them good information to be able to take effective cover and make the right choice and do the right thing, then I'm sorry, you need to go somewhere else. You don't need to have your TV on. You do not need to be in that area. You need to move to, I don't know, Siberia where there's no tornadoes or something.
No, because then they complain.
Move to Mars because there's no tornadoes on Mars.
They complain about it being too cold then.
Yeah. And that's the hard truth about this whole thing is that people like that will find something to complain about no matter what. And it's terrible because there are so many good things going on in this world, not just in the weather community. There's so many good things going on out there that need to be brought out. And there's so many people out there that are doing their best and trying to get better. And they can't get better because they're stuck reading your stupid comments about, oh, your hair looks bad. Or screw you, you interrupted Dancing with the Stars. You interrupted my stories. People in the South know what I'm talking about. Yeah. You're interrupting my stories so you can go on for some stupid tornado warning. No, there's no such thing as a stupid tornado warning. Regardless of the threat level within that tornado warning, whether it's confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado on the ground or radar indicated rotation, does not matter. A tornado warning is a life-threatening situation, and people inside that polygon need to take appropriate action immediately. So that stuff, yeah, that stuff can go away. I will preach that until the day I die. There is no reason why anyone should send that kind of hate mail, because all it's going to do is waste your time, waste the person's time you're sending it to, and it's going to bring them down, which is going to ultimately, over time, affect their job, unless they are damn near bulletproof, like James Spann is.
Yeah, I want to make a mention, too, because there's breaking news.
Uh-oh. We interrupt this broadcast for our CBS Radio Net Alert Bulletin.
Yeah, whatever. The stadium at Mississippi State is being evacuated.
Really?
Because of lightning.
Wow. Evacuation due to lightning. That must be a pretty intense lightning storm.
Well, that's what I'm getting from Twitter. Span retweeted a person who's at the game and says that they are evacuating the stadium, and it's showing the stadium a lot of the people are going into the are doing the right thing. So, well, some of them aren't, but you can't correct everybody's stupidity, but
well, start slowly in the path of a storm.
Yeah, because
there's storms on the north side.
There's a line of storms coming into Starkville that I saw, because I saw that was coming in. There was a bad storm at Baton Rouge earlier, just before LSU played, because LSU was playing at home. Big bolt of lightning. I saw that on Twitter, and there was people in the stands when that big bolt hit. And
maybe the athletic director and the public safety officials saw what happened at LSU and kind of took their own kind of thing, their own initiative.
But yeah, this it's not going to last long because the storms look pretty poultry. They don't.
Yeah, they're very outflow dominant. That's a very pronounced.
Yeah, because I saw
south of Artesia.
Yeah.
Artesia.
I could bring it up, but then that means I'd have to open up my Gibson Ridge. So
I have a radar scope open as we speak.
Yeah, but you still can't learn how to screen share yet.
I know. I have not figured that out. I have failed.
Yeah, the first thing he's going to do when he gets his new equipment, he's going to get a computer. He's going to get a PR40 with a shock mount.
That is exactly what I'm going to get. I'm going to get a Heil PR40.
A Heil PR40, and he's going to get a shock mount, and he's going to then decide to get Xbox and become a YouTuber.
No, I'm not going to get that. I'm going to get a PS. I don't think I'm going to get a hard mixer like Stan does. I think I'm just going to use what do you call it? Either GarageBand or Audio Hijack or something like that.
Audio Hijack Pro. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
use something like that, and I'll just play with the levels through that.
Well, the thing is, we're going off topic again, because when I was doing my videos, because I stopped doing my weather videos like 2 months ago, I was using Sony Movie Studio Platinum or some such thing.
Oh, cool.
The same as Vegas Pro something or other. Sony made it stuff, so I was like, ooh, because I was like cool, because I could do stuff and put stuff in like my music and whatnot that I bought, which I still can have because I can still use it. And I could put the stuff in and do it, because Windows Movie Maker was stupid, and Windows Movie Maker had gotten stupider. So I wanted something where I can like say it starts at this point, ends at this point, da 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 da, and Sony Movie Studio did that, which is similar. But what you'd have to do is you would have to insert the video as it's going through in. So if it comes to pass that I don't want to do this on YouTube live, that we would have to record something, we could record it onto something where then we'd have to splice in audio and all that stuff with like XSplit and whatnot, and Skype possibly. I'm hoping.
I think it would just be a good idea to just record it live. Don't do any editing. Don't do any splicing. Don't mess around with that stuff. Just just record the raw video, because I think that's a little better, using raw video that's uninterrupted and not edited in any way. I mean, if there's a major mix-up, the internet goes down or something like that, and the feed goes away, bring that back. Okay, bring that whole thing back and just redo it.
Well,
that's one thing. But
the thing that brings it up more, because I've mentioned this with Matthew, is that one of these days we're going to have to do a driving around video thing, which we should have done yesterday, because that would have been cool with the storms. But anyway, if we had done it at like 6 o'clock, it would have been like we would have seen UFO. We would have been like, look, it's the enormous extreme UFO supercell. Here it is.
Yeah.
That shape.
Why?
And I think we're going back into weather. There were some interesting lowerings. I knew they weren't wall clouds, but they sure looked like they wanted to be wall clouds. It's like a lot of scud. I saw a lot of rising scud.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, I saw a lot of that here too. The brief time I was able to look outside, there was a lot of really scuddy and really dirty looking sky.
Well, from where you are, you don't get that good of a view, except maybe a little bit to the west. My view is very bad now because of where I live now. If I look, I can somewhat see to the west a little bit, but that's about it. I can see a little bit to the east, but there's a tree there. So when I lived in my apartment, I had a good view from southwest maybe, I'm going to be bad on my directions, about 200 degrees to about 340.
Oh, okay.
About that direction, from south.
So you had a mostly westerly.
Well, because my apartment faced my apartment at the time faced west-southwest. So I had a view from about, if I went outside, I could see directly south to directly almost north. But here, I'm in a kind of a neighborhood. There's trees. I'd have no view. So if a tornado was coming, it would have to rip up the house across the street before I'd see it.
The best view that I have is from my back porch, and that's essentially due north. I got a little bit of a view to the west.
Yeah.
A little. It's not great, but I can see a little bit to the east, or to the west. I mean, I apologize, and I have a decent view to the east.
Yeah. Because I'd have to, because this is.
I'm also 35 feet up off the ground, though.
Yeah, but this is also a thing too, where that driving around show Matt where the good places are to go and view, especially up Ford Street all the way up 10 miles out of town to the St. Peter and Paul Lutheran Church parking lot's decent, because weather lore, the St. Peter and Paul Lutheran Church about 10 miles north of town on Ford, it's just off Ford Street, it's on X31, was hit by an F4 tornado. The infamous March 13th, 1990 event. That there was an F4 tornado, it hit that church and flattened it, completely destroyed it.
I might have to go see that area then.
Yeah, the bell from the original church is still there, but the rest of the building, they had to rebuild it. It's still there. You can tell from the farmhouses in the area which ones had been hit and which hadn't been. So
that's interesting. That's really interesting, actually. I just found myself a field trip since I'm a new resident of Jones County, Iowa.
Yeah, so he's going to be running off to looking for tornado damage from a tornado 26 years ago.
Hey, that stuff's fascinating to me. Like going back and seeing that kind of stuff. If I were to become any kind of writer, it would be writing about that kind of stuff. It would be writing about, this major tornado 26 years later.
By the way, I'll get him on this because he's going to be at the hill climb tomorrow. He'll be at the site of an F1 tornado.
Yes.
Yep. That was the site of an F1 tornado 10 years ago. So.
And there's still some trees down. If you're at like the timing tower, where the announcer always stands or sits.
Yeah.
And you're facing up the hill. If you look up to the left where it's not cleared off.
Yeah.
There's still some trees down, I believe, from that, because there hasn't been.
Yeah, the tornado actually was just crossing the river at the bridge, pretty much. But most of that south of there probably was RFD related.
Yep.
Because the tornado hit where Scooters is now. Yep. And went into that small little subdivision, and then it continued up the kind of down Lead Mine Road. Yep. And it's where it ended. It ended about a mile east of that subdivision. But that was an F1. Or an EF1 as it would be now. But anyway, it's going to places that were hit by tornadoes.
Now, speaking of podcast gear, I need to find a good camera. I'm not sure what camera to get. And I was wondering if you had any ideas.
For a webcam, I would say
I have a GoPro,
but on my laptop, so I'm not as worried. But most people, because this is where it goes off on me watching YouTubers and watching people playing games and gamers that are on YouTube, when they do vlogs, when they decide to say, "Oh, I'm going away on vacation" or whatever, they typically talk about what things they use. I've heard Logitech being used by several people. Logitech webcams. We're not talking about cheap things. There's a few people that use a GoPro, but really, you would want to have to use that GoPro for a lot more than just using it to put on a computer and watch.
Right. That's that's the great thing about my GoPro is that I have all kinds of different attachments.
Yeah.
I could just hook it up to the top of my laptop and just do it.
Yeah, you could use
I have
it.
an attachment, and then I can just take off the camera itself, leave that attachment on, and take it with me if I wanted to go chase or do whatever, or if I wanted to film, motorcycle ride or something like that.
Now, so you could use your GoPro.
I could, but I'm not sure if I want to, because that's some very, very high quality video coming through.
That's why I thought you don't really want to. That's why I said just for using it for that.
I could broadcast from the GoPro in up to 4K. But I would only be going at 30 frames per second.
A lot of people don't like that. I know when I watch gamers play on YouTube, they don't like 30 FPS. Yep. They want to be at 60.
60 or even higher. I can do
higher because
I can do 1080p.
Once you get down to 30, it looks pretty shoddy. So
I can do 1080p though. At 220 frames per second.
Yeah, that's way better.
Yeah.
So, but eventually, if we ever figure out we could start doing drive-arounds, I made another cool name for a thing.
What's that?
The one that I sent you about us if we were to do driving things.
Oh, yeah.
Matt and Jeff driving around not getting coffee.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Similar to the Seinfeld's one where it was comedians, something getting coffee. What is it called?
Oh, I don't.
Because I based it off that. I gotta look it up.
But there's another vlog that that reminded me of that. As soon as you sent me that, I thought of this, and this is and that's why I think this is an amazing idea. There's a DJ out there. His stage name is Deadmau5.
Okay.
He's Canadian, and if you look up Deadmau5, DEADMAU 5. That's how he spells it out. Coffee Run. He put up for a while, I think for about a solid year, he put up a bunch of YouTube videos of him going and picking up some of his friends. One notable guest includes former mayor of Toronto, Rob Ford.
When he was still alive.
When he was still alive, right after all the drug stuff went down. And it turns out Rob Ford is actually really, really cool. And he's a really nice guy.
When he was
watch that episode, you'll find out why.
And I might make a mention because it's comedians in cars getting coffee. That's what the show is. That's why I was like, weather people in truck. Because I don't want to do it in my car. Because why would I want to drive around in my Volkswagen?
Why would I want to drive around in my truck?
Yes, but yeah. So we get bored with my Volkswagen.
My Ranger isn't all that. It isn't that much more exciting.
I had a Ford Ranger and I got rid of it.
It's gonna take somebody dying, I think, for me to get rid of mine. Or the deal of a lifetime comes along.
Well, what year is it?
2001.
Yeah, mine was a 2000.
Oh, nice.
And I got rid of it because this goes off into this. The engine light was on. Everything wanted to break on it. It was starting to rust, and it was annoying, and I got rid of it. And with the money I got from that, I used for my down payment on my Volkswagen, which is my 2008 Volkswagen Rabbit.
Well, oh, you got a Rabbit?
Yes.
Cool. I like those cars.
And mine has a sunroof.
Cool. Yeah, what do you do with your car?
So,
yeah, what do you do with your car?
Okay, I'm going to, now, making a mention in my car made me think of a rant again.
Oh boy, here we go.
This was when I drove to Davenport a couple weeks ago. I decided, with my mother, to have my sunroof open. So I had my sunroof open, and I drove home. Next day, that night, because I was still living in my apartment, that night I went into my bathroom and happened to see that I had a horrendous sunburn on my head from the sunroof being open all the time. I got a sunburn from my sunroof.
That's really hilarious.
Let's just say now, if I
turn
use
the video on, so I can see your sunburnt head.
I don't have it now. That was weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I drove.
You said it was.
I drove around earlier today, but I had a hat on and I didn't have my sunroof open.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, I don't have that. I don't have that pleasure. I don't have a sunroof or a moonroof in my Ranger, but that would be fun to have in a Ranger.
Until you get into a hailstorm.
That's why you put a cover thing on it.
But luckily enough for me, I have a garage now, so I don't have to worry about it.
There you go.
So, because the first, 2 days into me having the car, we were going to have a hailstorm. It didn't come, thank goodness. I would have been really angry.
That would have been bad, yes. I agree.
So, outside of that, and anything else, what is there else to discuss?
I think it's about time to wrap. It's fall. You probably covered this, but it's fall. Pretty much.
I complained about it. It's going to stay cool, and except it's going to be in the 70s to about 80. Tonight it's going to be in the upper 40s.
Which I've already turned off my AC and I only have one little fan going in my living room, and it's perfect.
And the thing is, here in Anamosa, it tends to get a lot cooler than normal surrounding areas because of the river.
And we sit in a valley.
Yeah, well, you're slightly further down in elevation than I am. Yes. I'm up the hill.
Oh, okay.
Matt and I, right now, since Matt has moved, I now live 7 blocks from him.
Wow.
And the funny thing is then, 1 block over to the west of me is a storm chaser, which is Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
And she lives in the apartment building that's right near me, but she doesn't know that yet. But there's all these people and whatnot, so it's like everybody wants to come here. It's like, ooh, or whatever. So anyway.
I'll tell you this much. Fall storm chasing season is coming. The severe weather season of fall is coming. And
I'm wondering if the Illinois stuff yesterday was a preview.
I think that was. And I have decided I think I'm going to be out for it. I think I'm going to go chase it.
Oh,
there's a decent setup within a couple of states. I'm packing my bags and I'm hitting the road.
Oh yeah, he's not taking me.
Come right along. I'll clean out my truck and let's go.
Oh, he's gonna clean his truck for me. How fun.
Well, I have to clean it anyway, so.
Yeah, because you know what's gonna end up happening. We're gonna end up doing specials, driving to storm chases.
Yeah.
Oh, good grief. We'd have fun with that.
That'd be hilarious. So let me ask you, if a chase comes up and it's a couple states away, or within a couple states away, are you in?
It depends on what I'm doing.
Okay.
For example, let's just say this. For the fact, everybody would know this, my birthday is coming up. My birthday's on Thursday. I'm not going to go chasing on Thursday.
Okay. I don't see there being
no, there's not going to be
a severe weather risk on Thursday, so that's okay. And I have to say hello to Laura. I had to give her a shout out, and yes, that is me standing next to the TIV at the Science Museum in Minneapolis.
Yeah, he's showing off. No, his picture is of weather stuff. My picture, this old picture of me, is from me at Fenway Park in 2012.
Which is still to me is a better picture than mine, because Fenway Park is pretty amazing. I'm not even that big of a baseball fan, and I'd love to go see Fenway.
Okay, weather related again. I'm going to get weather related. The game I went to, it rained at the end.
Of course.
This is the interesting thing. This was in May. The wind was blowing off the ocean.
Okay.
It
Onshore
was-
flow.
Yeah, it was onshore. It was cold. It must. I think it was like 50. Miserable.
That's not that surprising to me
No.
because
In Boston, not in, especially in spring. You get the cold water coming off of like the harbor, and yeah, Fenway's further is inland quite a ways, but you'll get enough breeze because the wind was blowing at least 10, 12 miles an hour. But
okay.
it started light raining, miserable, and then we had to walk to the train station. My mother was with me, and they get on a train and go out to the parking lot, which is out in the outer loop, because it made more sense to park there than try to park close to Fenway and pay $30. It made more sense to just pay $6 for the whole day out in the outer loop, take a train ride, which didn't cost that much, and we ended up in the end saving money. But
yeah.
to the car.
That's how I go to Cubs games in Chicago.
Yeah.
I park at the Metro train station in Lombard, Illinois, and then I take that all the way in to the end of the line, which is Ogilvy Transportation Center downtown, and then I take the red line from there to Louisville.
Yeah.
And it costs me from my train fare from Lombard to Wrigley Field, my train fare there and back is $5. And it's free to park there. It's free to park at the train station.
In Boston, the parking was $6 for the whole day, given that it was just right off the interstate. And I think the train was like 3 one way, 3 back. So then it was 6 and 6, so that's 12. So it was $18 with my mother because she had to pay. But so $18 compared to parking at Fenway, where it was like 30, 40, 50. It made more sense. And we got to stay, and we came early. We ate lunch at the bar that's across the street. It's on Yawkey.
Okay.
So we ate at a bar. My sister couldn't believe that my mother ate at a bar. But we did at a bar. But
did you go see Cheers?
No. That's downtown. We didn't go downtown.
Oh, okay.
So
I would have gone to see Cheers.
Yeah, because I know it's there. It's not the same as it was, but because they've renovated the I think the restaurant upstairs, but
yeah, it looks completely different from the actual show now.
Yeah, it's so. But I know I didn't even get to go see the AMS because the AMS is based in Boston.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Another time.
But anyway, the NWA meeting, Norfolk broadcasters thing is tomorrow. The rest of the meeting goes to Thursday, which is my birthday. Didn't go this year because I bought a house.
There's one more racing and weather-related note for this week.
More
tomorrow starts preliminary test and tune runs for Drag Week 2016. Have you heard of Drag Week, good sir?
Where is this?
It's kind of everywhere. Drag Week is essentially a fastest streetcar shootout put on by Hot Rod Magazine every year. What you do is you take your car, modified essentially however you want, but the rules are you have to drive your race car to every track, and there's 5 racetracks over 5 days, and the average distance every year is roughly 1,500 miles. You have to drive your race car, and you cannot trailer it. You can pull a trailer behind your race car for, slick tires and spare engine parts and stuff like that, and water pumps and extra gas and all that stuff. But you cannot trailer your vehicle, your race vehicle, at all.
No.
And it's divvied up into roughly 7 or 8 different classes, depending on what modification you have to your car done. And the fastest average time in your class wins. And it's all for bragging rights. There's no money. The only thing you get is a jacket. And there's some people that are people go nuts over this event. And there are people spending upwards of $500,000 building drag week specific type cars that are putting out on the order of somewhere around 3,000 horsepower.
Just so they can get a jacket.
Just for a jacket and some bragging rights. But because it's held every year in the Midwest. This year, I believe it starts in St. Louis.
Okay.
I believe. I think that's where they said it started at a Gateway International Raceway.
Yeah, the drag strip there. Yeah.
Yes. Starts there. It weaves its way around the Midwest, and on the last day, it comes back to St. Louis. That's where everybody parks their trailers when they trailer their vehicle in. Now, there is a man by the name of Larry Larson, who last year basically set the fastest streetcar world on fire by building a truck, no less, that covered the quarter mile. And granted, this is a street legal truck, full interior, functional doors, everything. I think he even had air conditioning. Covered the quarter mile in 5.8 at over 230 miles an hour. Now, he's not bringing that vehicle this year. He's bringing his old vehicle, which is the 66 Nova, with essentially the same engine setup as his truck, essentially. It's a twin turbo big block V8 on electronic fuel injection and race gas. Complete, just full-on race car.
Yeah.
There are rumors flying around because of the great weather that's supposed to be going on this week.
And the cool weather too. Yeah.
Yes. Cool, dry air, good tracks. Some records could fall this year.
Yes. Who wants to see a street legal car go 260?
It very well could happen. It very well could happen because right before last year's iteration of Drag Week of 2015, Larry Larson took that truck to an NHRA drag race and raced in a class called Top Sportsman, which is basically really, really fast bracket style racing. You put a dial in on your door or on your window, which is like a prediction of what you think you're going to run that pass. And if you go quicker than that, you're automatically disqualified. But you still have to get to the finish line first. So he broke 250 in that race 1 week before Drag Week 2015. He broke 250 in that vehicle. So it's going to be very interesting this week. I'm going to be tuned in and watching closely. And there's people that there's a guy, his name's Vinny Ferrone, brings his car every year. He's done so for the last 6 years, brings his car and his entire operation all the way from Australia to here just for Drag Week.
Yeah.
He basically flies his entire race operation, essentially moving to America for about a month or a month and a half, does Drag Week, and then as soon as Drag Week is done, packs up everything and ships it right back home.
Yeah, so
this is a big, big, big deal this week. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But that's all I have for this iteration.
Besides my birthday, I have nothing.
Besides your birthday. Happy birthday.
Yeah, sorry, you don't win. I think Meredith Garofalo gets the nabs for singing me happy birthday 2 years ago.
Oh well, there's that.
Yeah, so.
Well, I bet you I can get somebody to sing you happy birthday.
No, good, no way.
Our new super fan Laura, I might get her to sing.
Oh gosh, super birthday. Super fan. Now we're gonna have I swear we're gonna have
her words straight from her text. Bordered by stars. Total fangirl. Not my words, hers.
Okay, okay. Okay, evidently the fans are coming back to the Mississippi State game, so.
Oh, good. Very good.
But
that means we have lasted the entire delay.
Yeah, so if you watched us, what were you people on? You must have been on something, some type of dope. It's called football.
Or beer.
And for those that would want to know, the Iowa State game, the Iowa's winning 28-3. Anyway.
Ouch.
And it's halftime.
All I can say to that is roll, Tide, roll. Thank you very much.
Yes, Alabama played earlier. They played Western Kentucky.
Yes, sir.
So, and I think they won. I would assume they did. I saw the game started, or it was this afternoon. I just saw that they were playing.
Last I checked, they were winning, and that's it.
Yeah, they better have. Unlike Oklahoma State today, which they didn't win. I'm sure you saw that or have seen that where Oklahoma State lost on the last second on an untimed down. They lost to Central Michigan. That was
yes.
And the problem is that play shouldn't have taken place. Oopsie.
I agree.
So Oklahoma State has been screwed before. Hint, hint. Iowa State a couple of years ago. They missed out.
Oh wait, what? Did you say that out loud?
Yeah, darn, because I don't like Oklahoma State because he's a man. He's like 45 now. Well, good for you. That means you're old.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, so he'll be looking for a job, I'm sure, because T. Boone Pickens will go and find a coach and he'll pay for it. Anyway. Course, but anyway, we've gone off on a tangent again. So
too many tangents, but that's okay. It's time to wrap it up.
This was the first week that I decided to try this on YouTube Live, even though it's still Hangouts, because Hangouts is now part of YouTube Live. Although I could have still done this off of Hangouts, but I actually wanted to try YouTube Live because we're going to have to, because Hangouts on air as a separate entity ends on Monday. So
yes, sir.
I was going to have to try this sooner or later, so I did. So if you want to join us next week for who knows what we're going to be doing, you join us.
Could be a storm chase. You never know.
I don't think so. It's not supposed to. Well, I don't know.
I know. Just being hopeful. I'm being hopeful. That's all that is.
Yeah. So, okay. Outside of that, don't have anything else.
That is all.
We'll get Matt down to the bar so he can get himself boozed.
Nah. I'm going to have dinner and I'm going to probably go to sleep.
He'll be at the bar getting boozed.
Yeah.
Sleep means going to the bar. So we'll see you next week. Friday, Saturday, we're not sure. Depends on what my internet's going to be like because it still won't be fixed by then.
Correct.
So we'll see you next week, possibly.
Hopefully.
So bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.